Akira Tendo, a third-year employee at a black company, is trapped in a miserable routine. One day, a zombie outbreak occurs, and while fleeing, he realizes that this might be his chance to escape his dreadful job. Flashbacks show that in the past, he was excited to join the production department, but soon became overworked and exhausted. His only solace was Saori, a kind colleague, but he later learned she was the CEO's mistress. As stress mounted, Akira considered quitting, but felt trapped. When the zombie apocalypse begins, Akira embraces his newfound freedom. He visits Saori's apartment, only to find her and his boss turned into zombies. Using his rugby skills, he resigns by tackling his boss out of a window. Determined to make the most of life, Akira creates a bucket list of 100 things to do before becoming a zombie. Akira, determined to make up for lost vacation time, spends his days drinking and relaxing, ignoring the zombie chaos. However, when he runs out of beer, he ventures outside. Leaving his home, he encounters a surviving couple and promises to bring them supplies. At the store, he tries to exchange numbers with a girl, but is scolded for risking his life over beer. Ignoring her, he faces a zombie attack, but is unexpectedly saved by her when a truck crashes into the store. Akira's bike is destroyed, but he finds a motorcycle and returns to the couple's place, only to find it bloodied and destroyed. Disheartened, he goes home and writes down 33 items from his bucket list before sleeping. A flashback reveals the girl's perspective. She studies zombies, listens to emergency broadcasts, and creates her own survival list. She considers indulging in Sakura mochi, but is interrupted when Akira enters the store, singing about beer. Later, she reviews her footage and wonders if she should have grabbed the dessert. Akira travels to Shinjuku to find his only reachable friend, Kensho, a former rugby teammate who was believed to have a successful career, but is now in grave danger. Before setting out, Akira tries to check off growing a beard from his bucket list, but fails. When his phone reconnects to Wi-Fi, he's flooded with messages, including one from Kensho. Believing his friend is alive, Akira sets out to find him. Meanwhile, Kensho is trapped in Club Showtime, locked in a bondage room as zombies overrun the club. Akira calls and insists on meeting, despite Kensho's warnings. Along the way, Akira reminisces about Kensho, a college partygoer turned real estate agent, who once advised him to quit his exploitative job, advice Akira had ignored. As zombies overwhelm the club, Kensho seizes the chance to escape and reunites with Akira. Akira apologizes for envying Kensho's success, but Kensho confesses that he never enjoyed his job and secretly aspired to be a stand-up comedian. In the meantime, the zombies, attracted by Akira's loud voice, locate them. The two rush toward the rooftop staircase, but get trapped on the roof. With no other option, they must leap onto the rooftop of a nearby building. Akira makes the jump with daring, and Kensho follows, successfully landing while losing his clothes in the process. That night, they lie down on the rooftop, and Kensho shares his dream of saving survivors of the apocalypse, though Akira remains skeptical. Akira gets absorbed in a zombie video game, while Kensho prepares a meal for them on the rooftop. Kensho teases Akira about his dating life, but encourages him to pursue his dreams. They decide to go to Ikebukuro to buy a widescreen TV, but on their way, they encounter a truck driven by a zombie. After escaping, they find themselves in a shopping mall basement, where other survivors have taken shelter. Among the survivors are 3 flight attendants named Reika, Maki, and Yukari. Kensho and Akira decide to cheer them up. Akira pulls off a humorous tequila stunt that makes everyone laugh, but he has to leave for the restroom. Meanwhile, Kensho and Maki grow closer, and Yukari talks to Akira about her job. Suddenly, one of the survivors turns into a zombie and attacks Reika. Maki is also killed, and Kensho defends himself using Reika's suitcase. Yukari confesses that despite her doubts, she truly loved her job. However, she has been infected and urges Akira to leave her behind. As they return to their hideout, Kensho proudly shows off an 8K widescreen TV. Reflecting on Yukari's and Kensho's words, Akira adds a new item to his bucket list. Remember my childhood dream. The episode ends with Akira playing his zombie video game once again. Kensho updates Akira on the state of the outbreak, mentioning how certain areas have been isolated. Akira, hoping his family in Gunma is safe, confesses his childhood dream to Kensho and even adds it to his bucket list. To make it real, they go to the aquarium where Akira finds a shark suit in a locker. With some spray paint, he customizes it into his superhero outfit. While testing his new identity, a female survivor from a previous episode rushes into the aquarium, followed by zombies. Akira sees a chance to impress her and fights the zombies, but quickly realizes that getting bitten is painful. Despite struggling, he manages to defeat them by tossing them into the water. However, the girl remains unimpressed. Later, Kensho encourages Akira to talk to the girl. She questions his motives and warns that his reckless actions could endanger those around him. Suddenly, a shark appears with two humans trapped inside it, and chaos erupts. As everyone is trying to escape, the girl is pushed aside by one of the people and falls behind the others. Akira turns back to save her. The girl devises a plan to defeat the shark, and Akira, with Kensho's distraction, confronts it. She throws in batteries, allowing Akira to deliver an electric shock to the shark, finally defeating it. He triumphantly checks off "Become a superhero" from his bucket list. Before leaving, Kensho asks the girl why she avoids large groups. She explains that she prefers to travel alone. As she notices Akira's bucket list, she remarks on the irony of their differing goals. Before parting, she shares her name, Shizuka Mikazuki, and her contact information with Akira. Akira and Kensho were admiring expensive watches when they returned to their hideout. Unfortunately, they were met with a power outage and water shortage. In this moment of uncertainty, Akira gazed at the night sky, reminiscing about his hometown, Gunma. It was then that Kensho suggested they pay a visit to see if Akira's parents had survived. Taking this idea seriously, Kensho and Akira carefully packed for their journey and set off for Gunma. During the drive, Akira expressed his desire to acquire an RV to simplify their trip. They arrived at an RV show, where they unexpectedly encountered Shizuka again. Akira extended an invitation for her to join their journey, but she declined due to her lack of a driver's license. Upon learning of Shizuka's license issue, Akira and Kensho emphasized the potential risks of her driving an RV without experience, attempting to convince her to come along. While they contemplated the vast selection of RVs, Shizuka sought one that would suit their needs. Despite Akira and Kensho's initial suggestion of a luxurious RV, Shizuka found it inadequate. However, Kensho proposed selecting an RV that aligned with their preferences. In the midst of their decision-making, they unintentionally attracted the attention of numerous zombies. To evade the impending danger, they hastily hopped into a random RV and sped away. Shizuka voiced her belief that a virus had caused the zombie outbreak and that developing a vaccine could be a solution. Suddenly, they encountered a spike strip obstacle that led to Kensho injuring himself, as he had been riding a motorcycle. To their surprise, they crossed paths with a rival faction led by Chief Kusugi, Akira's former team leader from his workplace. Kusugi was astonished that Akira had survived and offered them shelter at his truck shop, complete with food, spare tires, and other necessities. While Akira was grateful for the offer, he couldn't ignore the strange feeling in his chest after reuniting with the person who had made his life difficult. Kusugi, however, had ulterior motives. He insisted that Akira and his friends work for him for 2 days and used the threat of zombies to coerce compliance. Kusugi provided Akira with a rundown of his tasks while Shizuka tended to Kensho's wounds. She worried that Kusugi might find a way to extend Akira's duties beyond the agreed 2 days. The following day, Akira diligently attended to his work, noticing the overall sense of misery among the people around him. In a small act of kindness, he secretly stored some beer to share with them later. When Kusugi caught wind of this, he initially questioned the wasteful use of electricity. However, his stance shifted when his colleagues decided to throw a welcoming party for Akira and his friends. They left, and Akira observed how Kusugi was using zombies as if they were mere tools. In another scene, Kensho and Shizuka discussed Akira's situation further, pondering why he endured Kusugi's torment. Akira, who has been continuously deprived of his freedom by Kusugi, begins to feel the same mental stagnation as in his Black Company days. Shizuka recognizes his state, recalling how her father controlled every aspect of her life. As a child, she once took in a stray puppy, but her father forced her to give it up, believing nurturing the weak was pointless. Later, when she dreamed of becoming a doctor, he dismissed her ambitions for financial reasons and even had the dog put down. These experiences taught her that obedience was the only way to survive. In the present, Kusugi hosts a welcoming party for his associates. Shizuka observes while Akira works as a waiter. Kusugi makes inappropriate remarks toward her and berates Akira when he mistakenly hands him an empty bottle. Shizuka reflects on her past, realizing how much Kusugi's dominance mirrors her father's. That night, she discovers Akira's bucket list inside the RV. She adds a new item and informs Kusugi that she, Akira, and Kensho will leave after 2 days. But Akira shocks them by saying he'll stay, feeling indebted to Kusugi. Before leaving, Shizuka reveals Kusugi's manipulation to Akira, reminding him to consider what he truly wants. She returns the list, showing the items she added. Confront Kusugi. When Kusugi tries to sabotage the list, Akira protects it. He thanks Kusugi for his help, but declares he'll live freely with his friends rather than serve him. Kusugi insists Akira won't survive, but Akira chooses to take the risk. Soon after, one of Kusugi's men arrives with supplies, but a hidden zombie causes chaos. Akira takes charge, rescuing Kusugi and coordinating with the delivery team. Despite surviving, Kusugi is abandoned as his followers finally walk away. The episode closes with Akira, Kensho, and Shizuka driving to Gunma in search of Akira's family, carrying new resolve for the future. While still on the road to Gunma, Akira, Shizuka, and Kensho pause to fulfill bucket list item number 27. Paddleboard yoga on a river. After finishing, they continue their journey, expecting to reach Gunma in an hour. Along the way, they spot a truck with a flat tire surrounded by zombies. Akira dons his shark suit to play hero, but before he can act, the truck door bursts open and a red-armored samurai leaps out. The samurai slays the zombies with spear, katanas, and a bow, then unmasks, revealing herself as Beatrix Ammerhauser, a German woman obsessed with Japanese culture. She explains she came to Japan to travel after college, but the outbreak forced her to adapt, teaching herself to fight while traveling in samurai gear. Akira notices coolers of fish in her truck. Beatrix explains she's delivering them to Takasaki, not for survivors, but to a sushi chef who promised to make her authentic sushi if she brought fish. Kensho and Shizuka are unimpressed, but Akira agrees, since eating sushi is number 7 on his bucket list. Reluctantly, they join her. Arriving in Takasaki, they find alleys packed with zombies. Shizuka proposes a plan: lure them, barricade the path, and burn them. Kensho traps the zombies, but the matches fail. Panic rises until Akira and Beatrix fight them back, while Kensho and Shizuka distract with music. Molotovs finally ignite, burning the horde. They discover the sushi chef alive. Overjoyed, he prepares a feast with his remaining stock. Beatrix, overwhelmed at achieving her dream, cries with gratitude. The chef joins them in leaving, while Beatrix becomes a permanent member of the group. The journey continues to a hot spring resort town. Bucket list item number 16. Everyone craves a bath after days on the road. Beatrix rambles about hot spring history, joking that the only thing they can't cure is lovesickness. Akira glances at Shizuka, remarking that hot springs would be perfect for couples. He even admits he'd like a girlfriend to share experiences with. Shizuka coldly replies that dating is a waste of time, recalling her father forbidding her to see a boy in high school. Akira is quietly disappointed. At the men's hot spring, Akira and Kensho jump in, but Beatrix finds the women's bath empty of hot water. Shizuka refuses to bathe with the boys, but Beatrix argues it was once normal. Before she decides, zombies emerge from the baths, chasing the group up a mountain. That night, trapped on the mountain, they rest. Akira wakes and searches for water, stumbling upon a hidden natural hot spring. Excited, he jumps in, only to find Shizuka already there. She accuses him of peeping, but soon realizes he only wanted the spring. They sit together quietly. Shizuka apologizes for dismissing love earlier, explaining her father's rigid control made her resistant to others' opinions. Hearing Akira's openness had made her jealous. Akira is surprised at her honesty. Shizuka then muses that if she ever fell in love, it would be with someone she could be truly open with. Both realize this sounds like a confession, but the moment is broken when Kensho and Beatrix show up, teasing them for sneaking away to hook up. Laughing, they all jump into the hot spring together, ending the night on a lighter note. The quartet finally arrive near Gunma. Akira is worried since he hasn't seen his parents since he began working, and his dad always seemed distant. They reach a tunnel but find both ends blocked by construction and filled with thousands of zombies, none from Gunma. Shizuka deduces the villagers lured zombies inside and trapped them, so she suggests they travel on foot over the tunnel. On the way, they meet Masaru Kumano, an old carpenter. He explains he fled the city to live in the woods and started building a treehouse. Since number 23 on the bucket list is to build a treehouse, Akira insists they help finish it. Kumano teaches them how to hear the wood, and Akira wonders what it would mean to hear the world. Together, they complete the luxurious treehouse. Though Shizuka thinks Akira might want to stay, he decides to continue to see his parents. After saying goodbye, they reach the village. Akira rushes to the main hall and finds everyone alive, partying in their underwear. He reunites with his mother, breaks down in tears, and thanks her. His father knocks him on the head, telling him not to dwell on personal problems, then goes back to the fields. His mother cooks a meal, explaining that the village's isolation protected them from the virus. Akira then remembers why he came all this way in the first place. Number 31 on his bucket list, to have quality time with his parents. Determined, he gets up and helps his mother with her chores, then joins his father in the fields to work alongside him. While delivering vegetables, they encounter 4 young people from the city. Akira recognizes one. A flashback shows he was a NEET who failed to find work and withdrew from society, blaming others. Unlike Akira, he saw the outbreak as freedom from society and stacked supplies, meeting 3 others who felt the same. They made their own bucket list: crime, drugs, violence, rape, believing it to be a summer break to destroy society's corpse. Late that night, the NEET group approaches the tunnel. Shizuka bonds with an elderly woman named Tome while cooking rice. At that moment, a villager who had cut his hand with a sickle during farm work approaches Tome to have it bandaged. Shizuka shows them the proper way to treat the wound. The villagers mistakenly believe she's a doctor, and many of them, including Hikoi, begin to seek her help. Meanwhile, Akira and Kensho are working in the field when they spot Kanta Higurashi, a former college acquaintance. Upon recognizing Akira, Higurashi quickly avoids him. It's revealed that Higurashi had dropped out of college and become a NEET, not in education, employment, or training, harboring resentment toward Akira and Kensho for their past popularity. At night, the village's peace is shattered. Higurashi and his followers remove the barricades that had been keeping the zombies out and deactivate the electric fence. Zombies flood into the village, and Higurashi's group begins attacking the villagers. Akira and his father witness the chaos and split up to help others. They attempt to cross the fence but realize the voltage is at its maximum. As Higurashi and his group approach, Akira confronts him. Higurashi reveals that he also has a bucket list, and his next goal is to turn Akira into a zombie. He expresses his disgust at Akira's optimistic and cheerful attitude, claiming that his own way of enjoying life before everyone turns into zombies is through chaos and destruction. Akira responds that while he understands Higurashi's desire for fun, his method is worthless because it ignores the happiness of others. With determination in his eyes, Akira writes a new item on his list: repay my parents. The group begins planning their next moves. Beatrix heads to the mill to shut off the power, with Kanbayashi in pursuit. Shizuka goes to the suspension bridge to guide villagers away from the zombies, while Akira and Kensho prepare to evacuate. However, when Anju runs after her dog, they are forced to split up. Now alone, Higurashi grins maniacally, declaring that he will drag everyone from their homes and turn them into zombies, thus beginning a new deadly game of hide-and-seek. The zombies continue to attack the village, and Higurashi watches in delight. Anju finds her dog and is rescued by Kensho. They head to the roof to escape the zombies, but Kurosagi tries to push Kensho off the roof using a herding device. Beatrix finds the watermill but is cut off by Kanbayashi, who slices her sword in half with a chainsaw. Shizuka tries to help some elderly people escape, but they refuse, believing their old age would be a burden. She ends up luring some zombies away to protect them and runs into Atenbo, who tries to kiss her, but she manages to escape again. Meanwhile, Akira, fighting zombies with a plow, finds the shed where his parents, Nagisa, Ayumi, and Sakura, are hiding. As he fights the zombies outside, he apologizes to his parents for not repaying them for raising him. Teruo, his father, pulls him inside and tells him that the only way to repay them is to outlive them. He then slams the door shut and goes back to fight the zombies. Higarashi's minions have flashbacks to their pasts and why they feel disenfranchised by society. Kurosagi had a loveless marriage, Atenbu struggled with bad luck and blame, and Kanbayashi was a strict office supervisor. Each of them breaks down, screaming for answers. Kensho overpowers Kurosagi, throwing him off the roof. Shizuka confronts Atenbu, teaching him that luck only happens when others are allowed to share it, but he rejects this and tries to assault her. The elderly people, led by old man Hikoi, beat Atenbu. Beatrix fights Kanbayashi, jumping onto the water wheel, but it breaks and she rolls away as zombies devour him. Teruo fights off most of the zombies, but when there are only 3 left, he collapses from pain in his chest. Higurashi appears, kidnaps Teruo, and holds him ransom. He demands Akira either come out and be eaten by zombies or let Higurashi feed Teruo to them. Higurashi's backstory is revealed. As a child, he had friends and loved hanging out at the pool, but he became an introvert over time, drifting apart from them. In college, he tried to fit in but failed, leading to resentment towards Akira, who seemed to easily attract attention and friends. Higurashi came to hate Akira, believing that Akira should have been isolated like him. In the present, Teruo demands Akira not open the door. Akira pleads with him, revealing his illnesses and asking for forgiveness. Teruo, however, insists that Akira can repay them by living a fulfilling life and helping humanity with his bucket list. Akira eventually opens the door, and zombies enter, seemingly killing them. However, Akira emerges zombified, but it's a trick. He used makeup to appear as a zombie, fulfilling his bucket list item number 22 to try cosplay. The group uses Akira as bait to lure the zombies and trap Higurashi. Higurashi, defeated, admits he only wanted friends. Akira shows empathy, offering him a hug and promising to go to the pool with him one day. Higurashi breaks down, then runs away, choosing to sacrifice himself by leading the zombies away from the village. He eventually drowns in a river, finding peace. The villagers escape into the forest, but the suspension bridge collapses. Kumano arrives with a new bridge, allowing everyone to cross to safety. Akira's group, along with the villagers, reach safety, and Akira checks off the item of repaying his parents on the bucket list. The group decides to leave the village to find a cure for the zombie virus, fulfilling Teruo's dream of Akira changing the world. They write new items on their bucket lists, including bringing laughter to Japan, restoring Japan's natural beauty, and becoming a doctor. The group sets off, heading north and enjoying their journey through Japan, ultimately making their way to Hokkaido.